Welcome back to Shine Wellness. Today, why the news feels so disturbing and how to protect our mental health. Every day, people open their phones and see headlines about wars, political fights, immigration crises, economic disaster warnings, and many people feel overwhelmed, and rightfully so. They feel anxious, angry, or even hopeless about the state of the world. But there's an important reality we all need to understand. The modern media environment is very different from what journalism used to be. And understanding that difference can actually help protect our mental health. Most major media outlets today are owned by large corporations or powerful investors. That means news organizations often operate inside a system that includes advertisers, corporate interests, political relationships, and government access. And because of this, coverage will sometimes, if not often, reflect the priorities of the people who fund or own that platform. Stories will emphasize certain viewpoints while ignoring or minimizing others. That doesn't mean every journalist is dishonest, but it does mean the information ecosystem can be shaped by very powerful interests. History shows that during wars, information is often used as a strategic tool. Governments want public support, media outlets often rely on government sources, and because of that, wartime reporting can include selective information, emotional storytelling, and stories that highlight one side's heroism and the other side's cruelty. This happens in many countries, not just one, and it's part of what historians call information warfare, or better known as propaganda. Modern news moves extremely fast. Breaking stories are often published before all facts are known, and in some cases, incorrect reports spread widely. Misleading headlines exaggerate the situation, or early claims later turn out to be completely false. But by the time corrections appear, that original story may already have shaped public opinion. This constant cycle of fear, outrage, and correction can be exhausting for people who follow the news closely. Our brains just weren't designed for this. Humans evolved to worry about threats in their immediate environment. But today, your brain is exposed to wars across the planet, political conflict every hour, and constant alerts about crises. Even if those events are far away, your nervous system reacts as if danger is happening right now. And that's why many people feel very overwhelmed by the news. As a further example of what governments and news media can do to emotionally manipulate you, there is a story that I've talked about before. And if you've seen my video called See Through Manipulation Without Losing Your Sanity, then you'll be familiar with the story. If you haven't, go check out that video after this one. But the propaganda goes a little something like this. In the 1990s, a 15-year-old girl stood in front of the US Congress crying. She told a horrifying story. She said Iraqi soldiers had stormed into a hospital in Kuwait, taken babies out of incubators, and left them on the floor to die. The story spread everywhere. It was on the news, politicians repeated it, millions of people believed it, and it helped build public support for the Gulf War. There was just one problem. The story wasn't true. The girl's name was Naira, and she wasn't just a random witness. She was the daughter of Kuwaiti's ambassador to the United States, and her testimony was organized by a major PR firm called Hill and Knowlton. Now, this is why this matters for you today, because this wasn't some ancient old mistake made once. It's an example of how information, emotion, and media can and will combine to shape what millions of people believe back then and now. So, now knowing all of this, how do we protect our mind without ignoring reality? Well, the solution isn't to ignore the world, but it helps to change how you interact with information. You can limit constant news exposure by choosing specific times to check news instead of reading it all day long. You can look at multiple sources. Different perspectives can reveal where narratives or bias may exist. And recognize emotional manipulation. If a headline makes you feel immediate fear or rage, pause before reacting. Those emotions are often what the headline was designed to trigger. Stay grounded in your real life. Your daily world is usually far calmer than the global crisis feed on your phone. So, in closing, the goal isn't to distrust everything, and it's not to blindly trust everything either. The real skill today is critical thinking, critical awareness, understanding that information is being shaped, framed, and is sometimes just plain wrong. So, when you learn to see that clearly, you can stay informed about the world without letting the world's chaos control you. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe and like it and share it. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.